Yo, what up, guys? This your boy T Dot. What's blazing in sports, guys? We are here live, the ride home from work edition, guys. So, John Jones, he had to face a California commission today about him testing positive for a banned substance, guys. And this just want to give you my overall freestyle on what I thought went on during the trial. Who I thought favored who. Just give you my overall opinion on the fight as I make my way home. All right, so you got I believe it was maybe a maybe it could be a Foster, I believe. The guy that's more on the prosecutor attorney side, and then you got John Jones and his attorneys, and then you had the witnesses. They called the people that tested for the banned substance, and my overall opinion, from the people that tested for it or found the substance, they didn't think the amount that was in there was for somebody who took it intentionally to try to get a enhancement, over his competition in whatever he or she does. And then they asked, well, why do you feel this way? They said, well, because it doesn't have the parent. So I guess whatever it is, I don't have, I can't remember the type of drug it was, guys, but if you follow it, you know exactly what it is. It's like Turabol or something like that, guys. I really wasn't as deep into it, but I did some kind of way catch this trial and listen to it best as possible as I was working throughout the rest of my day. But to be honest, man, I believe it was a woman that was on the commission's team, and she was on the 4N. I'm not sure if she looked like she could be, maybe Asian. I'm not 100% sure, guys. So if that offends somebody, because I said she looked Asian, just looking at me as being ignorant. I just can't identify exactly, but she looked Asian. But man, I believe she was asking tougher questions and even trying to set traps for John Jones more than the Foster guy. She looked like she wanted to bury him alive. There was one point where it looked like she was just trying to establish he's a liar. She was trying to establish he continued to do wrong over and over. She wanted to establish that he hid. He cut edges. She was just really going after him, basically painting back to the time when he had the accident and he ran from it. About the things he did not report that he should have reported. She even touched on when, not just once, but several times throughout. Sorry, guys. I got one of those people that just literally drive fast and then got in front of me and hit brakes. Somebody's trying to get paid. Not today, and not off of me. So, she was talking about, there's been times that he, I just hit a bump. He, lied on forms when he had to, say everything he was taking. Saying, well, you didn't really disclose it all, did you? For instance, this, and this. And his response was like, yeah, but the things you name, they're not banned substance. They're things that, people take, basically what you're naming, but she was, I'm not gonna lie, man. She was, in my opinion, and guys, I this your boy, T-Dub was blazing in sports. I touch on boxing a lot, but, I am what's blazing in sports. So when it's something like this and it's something hot, even if I don't know all the detail leading up to it, I'm gonna give you my thought on it. So I'm giving you a real raw feel. Not a feel for me taking John Jones' side, not a feel for me going against John Jones and saying, take his career away and bury him. I'm not on neither side. I'm just a guy that's, I guess you would look at me that if I was a juror that didn't really know what's going on, and just give you my honest assessment on what I thought happened. So, you got John Jones. What is that? All right, guys. So you got John Jones who is he really is making the case that he didn't do it on purpose. He didn't mean for it. Looks like the doctor said whatever it was, it hadn't been taken oral. Give me 1 second, guys, as I have to weave around these people really fast. Alright. And again, guys, we are live, and this is what happens live. Alright, so let me do this real quick. Get this right. Alright, so guys, we got John Jones getting grilled for the most part when it came down to him talking. You know, when he said his whole spiel, to be honest, you know, he didn't really say a lot. Just basically that he didn't intend to do it. He's not a cheater. He doesn't steal. He paid for a polygraph test, you know, with the FBI. He said they asked him a ton of questions, and he passed it. The lady on the end, she even brought up about that, basically on the, she was just trying to say he was lying about that. Well, they only asked you 4 questions. And he was like, well, I was hooked up for an hour. They asked more than 4 questions. So maybe that's the 4 questions that they cared about, but they asked more than for 4 questions. And, she was just killing him. Now, there were some people on that same panel that you can tell that they didn't really want to go as hard on John Jones. They didn't really want to just, you know, take this guy career away, which is his career. I mean, it ain't just taking your career away. It's taking, you know, basically you're not going to be able to work again. I mean, what is John Jones going to do from here? If that's all he does is UFC fighting or MMA fighting, where do you go from here? You just can't work at a Walmart. You're not just finna sit in the office and do a desk job that they won't even hire you at. You know, this is pretty much your life. And then you had one guy, he was a kind of older guy. And what made me laugh or giggle when this guy was speaking was he was blunt. He like, listen, I left my hearing aids. I haven't heard pretty much nothing in so many words. And he kept bringing up Stephen A. Smith. Like, you know, Stephen A. Smith, you may or may not know him. And he didn't really ask any question. From my opinion on what he said, it sounded like he already had his mind made up, because he was like, I read this thing backwards, which means if you read it backwards, you haven't really heard nothing all day. You haven't heard nothing because you left your hearing aid, which means your opinion is already made up. You're already saying that, yeah, you're young, but you got to pay for it. You got to pay for it. So John Jones could have showed up or not showed up in his opinion, because you already had your mind up and you can't hear anything, and you kept going back to Stephen A. Smith. And I remember when he made a statement that John Jones, you know, asked to reply, and the guy said something else about, you know, you might not know Stephen A. Smith, and John Jones said, yes, I do know him. And he replied again with, you may not know Stephen A. Smith. Which means this guy can't hear anything. I really don't know which way this guy probably, you know, what he really want to do, but his mind seemed made up. And then you just got a couple of people that you know that really was gunning for him, and he had a couple that really wasn't. And then when I do Foster, was like, listen, this is my recommendation. He paid $2,500 in fines for this, $2,500 in fines for this, and I believe it's up to 40% of the purse, which was like another, I believe he's 200. I think it may have been around 200,000. And that's was his recommendation. He recommended, you know, revoking his license, him dealing with you know, the other situations that he have with USADA, and then he can come back and apply to get his license back. The guy was adamant about not taking his career away, not you know, letting him fight again, and I can kind of, you know, it seemed like he did not really want to just, you know, take John Jones out, even though that was his job to really do it. He was like, listen, by the way it looks at it, you know, you got a test coming up. Why would you do this the week before? You know what I'm saying? So people are starting to suggest that maybe somebody in his camp spiked him. Somebody must have slipped him something. I really don't know, guys. You know, we don't really know what's going on, but we just going off what we see. And most of the people on that panel was like, okay, you know, I can kind of go with what, you know, Foster said. except the woman on the end. She wanted to put her 2 cents. Like, so let's really put what we can do out here. Well, let's see what we really can do. I mean, we could go with the revoking, or we could do nothing, or we can suspend him, which we can make a longer sentence. Longer. I'm thinking like, man, I mean, I don't know, guys. Maybe you know more about her. It's like, she look Asian. I really don't know, but she look Asian. And it looks like she wanted to get him. She didn't bring up prior drug convictions to condemn John Jones. She brought up everything else that he did, in the past. Now, I guess the one thing that kind of can relate to UFC was she said that he didn't always admit things on the test forms, but I guess he never tested positive until now. I'm guessing. Remember, guys, I'm outside looking in, going off his word. He never really tested positive. Yes, he has shown a history of making mistakes. They wasn't steroids, but he made mistakes. But guys, my overall thought on this right here is that the commission side was definitely mixed. They hit him with $205,000 fine. I believe his license had been revoked with them. He can, once he deal with, his other things, he can come back and apply. The one thing they did add the stipulation was that they can revoke him. Well, not revoke him, but they can deny him and keep denying him, which would make it, actually longer. I think if it's up to the woman in the end, she would probably deny him for the rest of his life. But, I have a feeling that, they would probably maybe overrule her. My feeling is, I don't know, man. I think John Jones, I don't know if he did it or not. If I was a jury and I had to decide based on the evidence, I would say he didn't willingly take it for an enhancement, especially with the levels that they said was in there. So I'm not sure if he was trying to take something else and that was cut with it, or whatnot, whatever it could be, or maybe somebody on his team, try to slip something in there. But I don't believe he willingly took it to get an edge for the light heavyweight title fight. T-Dog, what's plays in the sports? We're here live.